You know what? Alexander the Great, the youngest, greatest conqueror ever. Another informative lecture by the youngest, smartest, and most knowledgeable teacher ever, Mr. Manning the Genius. Who was Alexander the Great? He was the son of Philip II of Macedon. He had a dream of a Hellenistic world, so in order to understand this, you're going to have to go back and look up what Hellenistic means. He conquered the world as he knew it, which is a true fact. He actually conquered the known world, and he did this all before the age of 33. Philip II of Macedon. This was Alexander the Great's father. Philip had been kidnapped by the Thebans as a youth. During the 3 years he was prisoner, Philip developed an admiration for Greek culture and a respect for the Theban army. Philip decided to unite the Greek city-states. Philip developed the first regular paid army. How is this different than what the Spartans had done? And think about how this is different than what we do today in the United States. Philip perfected the use of the phalanx and the concept of infantry. For 10 extra credit points, find out what these are. So you need to know what a phalanx is and what the infantry is. Philip was able to unite all the Greek city-states through the use of force. Philip was assassinated in 336 BC at his daughter's wedding. Why do you think this was? So think about the ruling style of Philip of Macedon as opposed to other ruling styles we've seen. Alexander the Great took over Greece at age 20. So think about this. In 4 years, you guys would be ready to take over the known world. Alexander wanted to combine the East and the West to create a Hellenistic culture. So this is actually the answer to one of the questions that I asked you earlier in this PowerPoint. A Hellenistic culture would take the best features of Greece and Persia and blend them together. The Hellenistic age is the period between Alexander's death in 323 BC and when the Romans took over in 146 BC. Alexander the Great, Part 2. This is the known world as Alexander conquered it. You can trace his route here through all the different pieces, all the way here. And then he went through, I believe he went through here. It's kind of like a maze. Came down. And I believe this is about where he died. Look at all the different Alexandrias. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, at least on 5, 6 on this map. So he's into naming things after himself. And as I said earlier, Alexander would conquer the known world by age 33. Alexander factoid number 1. Alexander never lost a battle in 13 years. Wow. Alexander the Great, Part 3. Alexander would die on his way back home at age 33, and I did reflect that back in the map. He'll die in, I believe, Persia. Alexander factoid number 2. As Alexander was returning home, he refused a drink of water because his men had none. The Greek historian Arrian wrote, "So extraordinary was the effect of this action that the water wasted by Alexander was as good as a drink for every man in the army."